guys, today we're going to talk all about printing, my favorite. So here is some of the fun stuff that I got printed. So there's so many options when it comes to printing. You can print at home. If you have a good printer at home, printing at home is an excellent option. You simply can download it and print it right there, print as many as you want. If you love how the colors turn out, that's great. Or if you don't, you can try your local office store. So you can try places like FedEx, Office Depot, Staples, any local mom and pop print shop. Really, our designs can be printed anywhere and they're going to do an excellent job. You can see the color quality on these. They turned out fantastic. I'm super excited. So when it comes to paper, different papers take color differently. So if you don't like how your print job turned out, for starters, you can try a different paper. The paper that I recommend the most is the 32-pound paper. You should be able to find that at any of your office stores. That's just a standard paper. It's not super thick and it takes color really well. That's what most of these are printed on, and it's also usually just the cheapest option, which is great too. It's super affordable. And on that note, so many office stores, I recommend looking online to see if they have any coupons going, because they usually do. So it makes it even more affordable, which is awesome. When it comes to printing things that need to stand up on their own, like food tank cards, for example, I generally print on the 60-pound paper. It still takes the color really well, and it also just has that little bit of extra thickness for them to stand up on their own and just be a little bit sturdier. But you really can print anywhere. It's so simple. All you do is download and print, whether you want to print at home, at your office store, or at a friend's house, whatever it may be. Printing is super simple and the colors will turn out great.
Hey guys, before we get started, I just want to let you know that we actually have a PDF download on this page below where it's going to summarize everything that I'm talking about in this printing video. So you can refer to that and get all of your questions answered. Just download it and you're good to go. Hey guys, today I'm going to go over some printing tips for you. It's super easy. Don't let it intimidate you. I promise you can totally handle it. You can print it either at home or at your local office store. Either way, it's going to be fine. I'm going to walk you through what I usually do and my favorite paper to help you be able to succeed. So, starting off with paper. I usually use only 2 different kinds of paper for all of my prints. So, my favorite brand here, it's a little heavy, is the Hammer Mill paper. Now, you can use whatever paper you like. This is just my favorite paper from my experience. It's a very bright white cardstock, which when printing, colors are going to look a lot more vibrant and a lot brighter when they're printed on a bright paper. It does make a difference, so keep that in mind. Now, I only use 2 different weights of paper. I use 32-pound and 60-pound. So for 32-pound paper, this is what I use to print all of my 8x10 signs. I use it to print my straw flags, my bottle wraps, all that kind of stuff. And one thing I will mention is when you are printing something that's going to wrap around something, such as the straw flags and the bottle labels, it's actually better if you use the 32-pound paper. Thicker isn't always better because it's actually harder to get to wrap around and stay. So when I first started out, I was like, oh, thicker paper's better. And so I was printing it on like 80-pound paper and trying to tape it on, and it kept rolling off, and totally not the way to go. It looks awesome printed on the 32-pound paper, and it wraps around perfectly and will stay and look fantastic. So that's what I use my 32-pound paper for. Now, I use 60-pound paper for anything that needs to kind of stand up on its own or just be a little bit more durable. So that's things like the invitation itself. It's nicer just to have it be a little bit thicker, along with maybe the matching thank you card. I also use the 60-pound paper for my banner, my cupcake toppers, and my food tent cards, since those are all going to be like standing up on their own. And again, they're all just the bright white cardstock. That's what I always print on. So I use those 2 different types of papers for anything that's going to be like a standard size. So that's anything 8.5 by 11 and smaller. So if you're printing smaller sizes like the 5x7 invitation, what I recommend is when downloading your file, make sure you select the print multiples per sheet, and that way you can fit as many possible on your 8.5 by 11, which is just that standard size right here that prints out at your house or your local office store, and it'll just print multiples per sheet, and then you just cut them out and trim them and you're good to go. So it's super nice. It really utilizes paper that way. And those are the 2 types of papers that I use for that. So 60-pound, 32-pound, bright white cardstock. Now, if you're printing posters, So these are anything that are going to be bigger than an 8.5 by 11. These can't fit in your standard printer at home or just a standard office printer. So those ones you're going to need to get printed at your local office store. Now I use their 55-pound poster paper. This is just their standard paper. It's a great thickness for a poster. It looks awesome. This is great for colored poster prints. It looks great for black and white home prints, anything like that. You also have the option to get it adhered to a foam board, so it's a little bit thicker. That's a good way if you're gonna like stand it up in an easel or something like that. You can also do a very simple DIY project that way, where you buy the foam board, print your poster, just spray some adhesive glue, and then just stick it on, and you've kind of done it yourself there. With posters, again, so I use the 55-pound paper. If you don't mind the gloss finish, you can also get your posters printed at like a photo lab at like a Walgreens or a CVS or anything like that. They actually do a really great job. I've printed a couple at a photo lab and they've looked excellent. If you don't mind that little bit of a shiny finish, the color looks great. The color actually looks really good with the gloss finish, so that works too. And a lot of times drugstores and all that kind of stuff, they'll have like 40% off coupons or awesome stuff like that. So that's another option for posters. The last option for posters would be if they are black and white. They have to be black and white. This option is only for if your poster does not have any color whatsoever. If it's just black and white, you can actually print it on a 20-pound bond paper. Now this paper is very thin. Your normal at-home printer paper is like 24 to 32 pound, and so this bond paper is even thinner. It's super economical though. It's like $5 to print a huge 24 by 36 as long as it's black and white only. So it's just a great way to print a really large poster at a really affordable price. But again, can only be black and white and the paper is really thin. So normally really for posters, I would recommend that 55-pound paper, but it really depends on what you're looking for. So those are my main printing tips. I promise you can totally handle it. It's super easy. We have a printing guide you can also reference. If you have any questions, let us know. We're here to help. So let's make the magic happen.